Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live session. I hope you can hear me. If you can, please give me a thumbs up so that I know that you can hear me. Welcome, Nonie. Welcome, Habibi. Welcome, Mr. Babajide. Welcome, Ife. Welcome, Adeloa. Welcome, Theresa. So I hope that you can hear me. I'd appreciate some form of feedback so that I know that you can. Awesome. All right. So just to give us a brief introduction, great. Thank you, Noye. Um, this is the second series or the second part of our ongoing series here at Edike. And this series is on making the right choices for your child's school, like choosing the right school for your child's education. Our previous series was for teachers and parents and school owners and how they can navigate Nigeria's economic reality. And this series is particularly for parents to let you know how you can make the right school choices for your children. While I wait for our speaker to join us, I'd like to say a big thank you if you're joining us right now. And this promises to be a very exciting time, and we're definitely going to learn a lot. Um, awesome. Hi,
Hi.
Miss Ife.
So,
Hi, good.
hi, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. So, I could see you before, but as soon as I joined the live, you went black.
Oh, okay. Can you see me now?
Mm, Nope.
Oh, okay. So let me
But
see.
can everyone see us?
Let me see. Maybe it's the Can you see the logo?
No, it's probably my network or something. But if
Okay.
everyone can see both of us, I think it's okay.
Okay, so
If
let me
everyone can see us.
that we can be seen because
Oh,
that is very
okay.
important. Yes.
Okay, so,
Yes, so I
okay,
can
so,
confirm.
okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Great. So, since we're here, thank you again for everyone that has joined in. I'm going to be waving as much as I can and saying hello as often as I can. And I'm just here to let you know that you're here for a very insightful session, especially if you're a
Yeah.
parent looking to, change your child's school this coming session, or just looking for how to improve, their academic performance and academic environment, then you're definitely in the right place. So before we continue, I'd like to read Mrs. Ife's bio so that we know what we're in for. Um, so please listen. Ife Aduradola is a literacy advocate and children's book author from Ogun State area. She's the founder of Onkawe Book Club for Adults, Onkawe Junior Book Club, and Onkawe Education Foundation. She has a BA in English and an MA in literature from the prestigious Redeemers University in Ede, Ogun State. She also holds a professional diploma in early childhood care, development and education from Corona College of Education, Lagos State. She is currently studying to become a child psychologist. Through her foundation, she has facilitated trainings for early years teacher in low-income schools, as well as orientation programs for parents in rural communities. Ifeoluwa has children and is passionate about ensuring that every child, regardless of their family financial background, has access to quality education and literacy. She is an advocate of better parenting and wholesome family life. She and her husband host the Parenting in Action World podcast, where they share their parenting experiences and insights to having a wholesome family life. She believes that the strongest unit of a sustainable society is the family. She is the author of Parenting is an Action Word and the award-winning Bam Bam Surprise, Tammy's Song, God Wants You to Be Like Him, amongst others. She is also a member of board and co-creative head of Studio 513, a family entertainment media company birthed in 2022. So with a very awesome round of applause and a sitting or standing ovation, whatever position you're taking, I'd like you to please welcome with me Mrs. Ife as we go on this exciting journey. So I see that, I mean, you're perfect for this. You're absolutely perfect for this. A early childhood
Right.
development advocate and professional. You're also training to become a child psychologist, and you have a foundation, that is currently working around education and ensuring literacy, for children. So I'm sure that in your work with children, we understand that every child is very unique. Every child has their
Mm-hmm.
unique potentials and their unique, identity. So, how can parents identify these unique abilities when in regards to learning? So we know that they are unique. Some children are quiet, some children, are very vocal and, different kinds of. But when it comes to learning, what are the things parents can look out for, to help them understand their child and their needs? Yes. So
And
please, you
your
have
needs. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. In fact, the devil is just a liar
it.
because the network has been terrible where I stay for about 3 days. But I'm in Abeokuta at the moment for a teenagers program. That's why I'm in the car. So please, I'm not this tacky, but I'm using one stone to kill two birds.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you've said it. I mean, parents have to be really sensitive to their children, especially their needs. And so you're asking how they can do that.
Yes.
Um, this is a topic on its own. This is another topic on its own. So now the thing is this: before you even start to have children, I tell people around me now, and I think that's one of the things that when I was pregnant with my children. Let me start from there. When I was pregnant with my first child, anytime I go to the hospital, yeah, because I'm I can be very health conscious when it comes to some things. So my husband and I decided to have our private antenatal classes, instead of doing the general antenatal classes, so that I'll have a one-on-one with the doctor and you're paying attention to me. Anyway, whenever I got there, the doctor will ask me, please, who is the doctor among the two of us, me or you? Because you're always coming up with something, you're always finishing my sentences. And I told him it's because I read a lot. So I need to be also sure that what you're telling me is accurate.
Yeah.
It tallies with what I have read, the research that I have done, right? So from that stage, I learned a lot of things about children, about the features in my womb, about the developmental stages, the milestones, what to look out for, what should be a red flag, and all of that. So I had done a lot of research, and then I talked to a lot of people to and try to sieve the information. Okay, if this person says this and this person says something else, I know that I'm a logical being, so what actually makes sense in this scenario? And then I go back to do my research. I ask professionals. I'm not asking a dentist, I'm not asking a surgeon, I'm asking a gynecologist or a pediatrician who is trained for that particular field. Do you get? So I started from that. So why did I bring this up? We need to be informed. We cannot just keep popping out children without having an idea of what to expect. And that's why some parents miss out on certain, red flags, and it's almost too late when they discover and they put the child through a lot of stress, you know. So you need to be informed. Parents need to be informed. We have the excuses our mothers had. We don't have that excuse. So at this stage of our lives, we cannot say, oh, I didn't know, because the information is there. UNICEF, UNESCO, WHO, medical, everybody has written one thing or the other. Go and do your research, right? So that you are familiar with the developmental milestones for your child, and then you'll be able to follow up. Of course, not from a place of fear, but just from a place of I need to support this child when this child begins to crawl. So what are the things I need to know about this crawling stage? When some people will tell me, oh, I took my child to this creche, and the first week my child got there, he came back with an infection. I'm like, yeah, that's normal. You know why? Your child has been shielded in the house for so long in a particular environment. You are taken into a different environment where he's going to be interacting with 13 other children. Of course, he will catch an infection. But the thing is, what type of diet does he have? What is feeding lifestyle at home that can help him to build immunity against these infections? A lot of people don't know that, so they go ahead and blame the school. Oh, that's that creche. Don't take your child there. Oh, your child will catch an infection, or a child is teeth, for instance, and they come up with all sorts of ridiculous things. And I'm like, a child that is teething would definitely put his fingers in his mouth all the time because he's trying to massage his gums. Please, can you hear me? Because the fact that I can't see you, it's making it. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm
Ah.
with you.
And at that teething stage, they are putting their hands on the floor with toys. So there's a lot of all of that straight into the mouth, and then the child falls ill because the body is trying to adjust to um um these new visitors that have entered the body. And then they go ahead and giving the children a lot of antibiotics, and disturbing the whole lot of attention on these matters for learning, for um informed. Find out what actually is my child supposed to know at this stage, at age 3. I mean, my daughter was 4 months when she started creche
Yeah.
because I had to return to work. But then when I had my son, we didn't start school until he was 3. And I had my reasons for that because I knew that it wasn't even compulsory for him to start school before 3. 3 is the ideal age, in my own opinion. And some other people, I mean, there's so many researches done that from the age of 3, you can take them to a play group, because it is at that point hello, no, please, so am I still here?
Okay,
Okay.
so the network is breaking,
Oh, oh,
but I
oh.
hope that
I
I'm
can hear
able
you
to
now.
sort this out. Welcome if you're just joining us, and work how to make the right school choices for your children. And so we're just preparing parents to make the right choices. And we have Mrs. Ife Aduradola with
I
us.
can hear you. Hello.
So hello, Mrs. Ife. We lost you for a bit. Can you tell age for school? So that you were speaking about resumption based on research and different findings and people's opinion as well. So I don't know if you can hear me. I'd like for you to that place, that point.
Okay. Okay. But can you hear me now? Is it clear? I'm sorry. This network
Yeah,
it's been a
fine.
little
Yes,
messy.
I
MTN.
can hear.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. So I
loud and
was
clear.
saying that from okay, good. I was saying that for me, I mean, I took my son to school at age 3, and that's because I'd done a lot of research and then realized that at that age is independent, his system has built resilience. I can communicate with him. All the wires, the red, blue, and green and yellow wires in the brain, everything is connecting, and then it can focus properly
Yeah.
in a learning environment. Can you still hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. So I think the summary is just for parents to pay attention to information that can help them. And yeah, that was the summary of what I was saying. I think I lost my line of thoughts after, because I said a whole lot. I didn't know that network had cut me off. But it's just for parents to be well educated when it comes to matters like this. Take it seriously. Ask
Okay.
questions, ask and read and do research. Thank God for social media, thank God for the internet. So every information is at our disposal, and we really do not have an excuse for not getting it right. And then it depends also on the personality of the child too. So for me now, I said my son had to start at 3. My daughter started at 4 months. I just graduated till she started from the creche, graduated to the preschool and nursery and all of that. My It was convenient for me at that time, because we also need to look at the circumstances. Please, so let me know when you can't hear me. It was convenient for me at that time because we need to consider the circumstances. Some parents don't have that luxury. I had the luxury at that time. My daughter couldn't enjoy it. My son could enjoy it. So just a couple of factors. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I'm just going to summarize some of the factors that you have shared with us. Parents need to look at the ideal age, of their child based on his development. They also need to look at their personality. I mean, the kind of child that you have, and they also need to look inwards and see what their circumstances
Yeah.
looks like. I mean, when determining, their needs or things they need to consider when looking out for a school. So I want us to like make this more specific in looking out for a school. So if I
Mhm.
find that, for example, my circumstance doesn't really allow me to homeschool my child, I hope you can hear me, doesn't allow me homeschool my child till maybe age 3, and I have to put them in school earlier, even in primary school or in nursery school, and I have to put them in school, what are the things that I need to look out for child and look out for in the school that I want them to, attend? What are they sure are connected for me to pick the right school? So I remember you mentioned, taking a child to a school and it's been exposed for the first time and has maybe comes down with an infection or so. What are the things you need to start looking out for in their child, and also in the school they intend, taking their child to, just so that there is a balance you can no longer handle or that you will not find comfortable at par. I hope you got me.
Okay, so it was breaking at some point, but the part that I got is, what are the things that parents need to look out for when picking a school for their children, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Um, hmm, for me, I would say values first. Hear me out. Yeah, every human being should have values that they stand by, that they live by, that guides them, right?
Yeah.
And so what are your values as an individual, as a person? What are your values? What are the things that are important to you? Religious environment, yeah. But my children don't go to the school. Can you hear me? Hello? No, I'm going to deal with this network.
Right. Hello everyone. So we apologize for the network glitch. Mrs. Ife will be back on shortly with us. However, so far in conversation we've been speaking about making the right school choices, learning about your children enough to identify their needs and identify the kind of opportunities or the kind of school environments to look out for. And so, okay, great, Mrs. Ife is back with us right now. So we're going
Yeah, and
to
I can see
I'll
you
leave you
now.
to answer the yes. Oh, awesome. Thank God.
Okay.
All right, please go ahead with the question. I don't know if you want me to take it again.
Yeah, so you're asking what parents for their child.
Would you
Yeah,
like me
so
to take
what I was saying before the
okay.
internet cut me off again, I said your values as a human being. What are your values first? What do you look out for? And I was
Yes,
giving the
in
example of
school
where I live.
when
So I
picking
live in
a
an
school for your
in a
child.
religious environment, but my children don't go to a Christian only school. And that is because for us, empathy is very important for us. Empathy is like what of course responsibility and all of that, but we want to raise children who would comfortably sit with children from other religions and not feel some type of way about them. Do you understand? Children who will be raised, to respect everybody regardless of who their father is, who their mother is, where they come from, whether they are pastors or not, whatever. They really don't. And children are so innocent, but we parents are the ones who put those things in their minds consciously and unconsciously because of our own bad behaviors. So we didn't choose a Christian school. So that is one of the things that we're looking out for, a school that accommodates everybody so that our children will be able to accommodate everybody. So that's why I said, what are your values? What are you looking out for? If you and then of course let me just add this. In a Christian in a Christian only school, for instance, and I'm not saying this is bad, please, right? I'm not saying it is bad at all. I'm just saying that what we wanted as a family was what informed that decision to go to a school that is mixed, that is not, Christian or Muslim only or atheist only or whatever, right? So that is very important. Your values. What are your values? Then, secondly, another thing that we didn't like in some of the schools that we were going to is this might sound funny. It might sound really funny, but I'm still just going to say because I mean I need to be truthful here. One of the things that we had a problem with in most of the schools that we went to when we were trying to pick a school for our children was the way the teachers and the children spoke. Yeah. So I saw an advert for school teachers, for an early years teacher. I saw the advert some days ago, and one of the I'm not even capping. One of the criteria for applying for this position, guess what it is? No Nigerian accent. And I was like, um, hello, no. I mean, what do you mean by no Nigerian accent? But that's the reality. And you know that some parents are the ones who call for it. No, I want my child to speak a certain way. I want my child to speak a certain way. I don't want my child to speak that way. You are not British. You're not American. What is important to me is speak eloquently and let it be audible that people can hear you. A Chinese man, an Indian will not come here. I mean, will not change the way they talk. Even Hausas, whenever they are speaking, you will still you can hear, you can feel it. I love the Hausa accent so much. You can taste it on your tongue like this. That this is so sweet. It's sweet to hear them speak things here that we were individual or as a family. And I'm saying individual and family because we know we have people who raise their children by themselves. As a single parent or important to you, Okay. You are frozen. Oh. Okay, it's back. Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying that it's
Yeah.
important because you see where that child is coming, where that child is, where you're putting that child, where that child is going to be raised. Yeah. It's it's one of the key factors,
Or she
to
gets back
determine how that child
back.
is going, who that child is going to be in future. So if your child is raised in an environment where there's constant, they're constantly making them feel low or feel some certain kind of way, or there's some rules that apply to certain people and don't apply to other people, your child is likely to come back with very low self-esteem and all of that. So that is why these values are very important. How will you now know that a school has these values? Because it's easy for them to paint it on the wall. There
Yeah.
was a school I went to speak at that school, and they wrote anti-bullying, all the anti-bullying rules. And I just laughed. You know why? It's not about writing it alone. When a
Yeah.
child bullies a child, what are the measures that you take to discipline and then to serve as deterrent to other children? So it's not just about them putting it in a very fancy plaque and saying, in this school, this is our vision and mission. Go inside and actually go and find out. And guess what? When you get there and you ask them, what are your vision and mission statements, they will tell you things you want to hear. Do you know how you will find out? The interaction. That's why I don't advise parents to go. Yeah, you can go school searching during the holidays now, but a lot of times you won't get the real deal. You won't get the real feel of that school until school is either close to resumption or at the very early stage of resumption. You will see how the teachers interact. You see how they interact with the children. You will see how even the owner of the school, the proprietress, interacts with the teachers. If you get to a school and the proprietress is being very rude or overbearing or is harsh or whatever, there's a way, especially when they are all puffed off on their chair and say, no, you do this, you do this. If they talk to their teachers that way, trust me, their teachers will not be in the best mental state to raise your children well for you in the classroom,
Right.
because they are always on their toes, they're agitated, they're afraid that Oga can come in. There's a whole lot that they're dealing with, and they're not giving in their 100% to your child. So interact with them. The school I took my children's school at the moment,
Right.
the first day I went there during COVID. Yeah. And it was just by chance. I just entered, myself and another a friend of mine. We got there, and what I was most impressed by was the fact that the security of the school, the security man could tell me things about the school without having to see an administrator. So I knew that there's some sort of calm and peace in this place, that the security man is not educated, but he was able to sell the school to me right at the gates. And then when I met him, and when he took me in, he said, "Oh, the proprietress is not around, but there's somebody here." I didn't know who that somebody was, so I got there, and there was this man that attended to myself and my friend. We were talking. He told us a lot of things. So this is how we do this here. It's a family school. They're very family oriented. So there's a lot of, once you have enrolled your child, they have more or less enrolled you as the parents, So there's a lot of follow up and all of that. Only for me to find out later that was the school coach, not even a teacher in the school at that time. So he took me to the back where they had the tennis courts, and I saw a tennis coach coaching an older woman. I didn't know who she was. I just greeted her and I left. I resumed the school and found out the older woman that I greeted was the owner of the school. So I could see that there was some sort of synergy between the staff and the owner of the school, and everybody was just in sync. I did not need to meet the proprietress. I didn't even need to speak with it. I didn't even know she was the owner of the school. But the reception was warm. And guess what? They weren't even expecting us on that day. So that was like the selling points for me, that no, I'm going to bring my child here. But also, I had to ask questions from people around. You have your child in this school. How's your child's academics like? How do the teachers behave? What are the things that they look, So all those things, it's still, see, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. We think it's only in spiritual matters. No, when it comes to matters like this, it's also very important that you ask questions. Because Like I said, schools, you also have to be very wary. They'll paint everything as beautiful for you if you don't open your mouth to ask the right questions to know that I need to be sure that these people know what they are doing. So we got there, sampled and all of that. I didn't make a decision immediately. I had to look for people, maybe around my area, church, work, and all of that, whose children or who knows somebody whose child goes there. And then I called the parents and asked a few questions. Oh, these people, how they like, what do you think? Somebody mentioned something. Oh, I went to the toilet one day, there was no tissue paper. Small thing, that's very easy. The interaction between your child's class teacher and your child, how is it like? Oh, they're very nice. So in fact, if they see anything, they call me. If they notice anything, they call me. Hey, that's what I want. I don't have a business with whether they have tissue in their toilet. Worst case, I will give you tissue as a parent. I will support you. Is that because that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the content itself.
Right.
So I've talked about values.
Right.
Yeah, I've talked about values. I've talked about asking questions and all of that. Then your pockets also is very important. I think that your pocket should even be the last on my list. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, but that pocket is very important. No, don't let me even talk about the pocket yet. Let's go to the curriculum. The
Okay.
curriculum of the school.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was in Ibadan, my because we had to move from Ibadan to where we stay at the moment. So when I was in Ibadan, my daughter was going to a school, and right in front of opposite that school, they share a close. It was an American school, and I used to wonder. eh, it was just so interesting that this American school, when they close at 1:30, the mothers will take their children and then bring them to my daughter's school just across the road for after school. So I was just thinking, why not bring your children to this place? And
Oh, yes.
but then I found out it's purely American. They're preparing these children for American colleges and universities. So it doesn't make sense that they'll be in a British school or a school that runs a British curriculum that doesn't prepare them for American exams. The exams are different. So the American exams are different, the British exams are different, the curriculum is different. What they teach them at grade 5 is different from what we teach. So it was I found out then that it was completely different. So you have a goal in mind that I'm going to be jackpotting very soon, or I want my children to jackpot at so and they are going to America, or they are already American citizens, but
Mhm.
because of work I have to be in Nigeria. You take them to a school so that when they get to the point of writing exams, you will not destabilize that child. You will not. And that is why you see these are conversations that people should have before they even get married. Because we're talking about irrelevant things, but we're not talking about the fact that our children are going to go to school. What's the payment plan? What's the package? What plan do we have? What kind of schools do we want them to go? My husband met somebody recently, and his son goes to one of the most expensive schools in Nigeria. The school is in Ibadan. We are not doing promo for them, so I will not mention their name. And then my husband was like, this school is pretty expensive. And the man said,
Mhm.
yes. Guess what? Imam, he said he took his children to that school because of the connections that he would make and the children will make from that school. So
Wow.
his children will be classmates with the children of certain top shots in Nigeria and across the world. Yeah. So when you go for PTA meetings, you are meeting these people. Yeah, you are in the media space, you're a contractor, somebody says something, you quickly chip in, you give them your card, and that is how you start to build your network. And which is also good for the children. They can afford it. Yes. So they can do that, you know. But some a lot of us we don't cause well that's one for me. I don't know if I can afford it, I would. But I don't think it is key on my list. I don't think it's in my top 10. Do you understand? Because you see the
Right.
way God works. You might think that these people are the ones that will pull your children up, or you think that's the network you need. The
Right.
network you need is right probably on your streets.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so we need that. For that we need to be very careful how we dictate for God. But that's just one of the things that some people look out for. So what's
Right.
the curriculum of the school that you want your children to attend? That's another thing. Do you even know what the curriculum is like? Do you even know what to expect? And like I said, the internet is there. Just go and type British curriculum for primary school, British curriculum for secondary school, British curriculum for American schools, read about it, go to the schools, ask them questions, sample 5 different schools and ask them and see the similarities and differences, and then you pick what works for you. So that curriculum is very important. Then so I talked about parent teacher relationship too, right?
Yes,
Parent,
yes,
yes, and then the school relationship, how because see,
yeah,
if that environment is not healthy for the people who are going to be teaching your children, it's not going to be healthy for the children. Already,
right.
as a Nigerian, you have mental health problem
Mm-hmm.
because there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
Indomie is 300 naira, for goodness sakes, and your salary is not increasing as a teacher. We have teachers,
Mm-hmm.
because I've done a program for teachers before. I'm attending another one at the end of this month, and one of the major problems that teachers have is the remuneration. It is ridiculously poor, and that's the truth. Teachers are still receiving 40K. I know somebody whose salary is 40,000, a young girl,
Wow.
and she
Wow.
teaches Monday to Friday. She's not even
Wow.
teaching an easy class that she's teaching early childhood, for goodness sakes. You will clean
Wow.
kata, you will clean bum bum, you will do different things, you will shout, you will scream, you will sing, you will make up songs for
Yeah.
40,000 naira in this Lagos.
Yes.
In Lagos. Yeah. So if they are not mentally okay and the environment they're working in is not even giving them that space to, how do you expect that they will raise your children well for you? you know so that's also, that one is very, a lot of people don't think about this, but for me it's very key. My children's teachers, they are my friends. So I make them my friends because I need to know how my child is. When I go for PTA meeting, I've seen their textbooks, I've seen their exercise books. I'm not asking that, I'm asking, what are the things you think we should do from home to help Toke in school? How's the interaction like with people? My daughter is very loud. She's vocal at home, but there's a period that in school she was timid. So I needed to find out what. And a teacher told me, since I'm the head of children department in church, I should make her take on responsibilities like reading to everybody, taking
Oh,
prayer, taking this.
good. I want you to hold that thought for us because I mean
Okay.
it's one of the questions we're going to come to, like, as in we're
Oh,
going to sit with a babe.
ah,
Yes.
look in the comment
How
section.
to is how we want parents to make sure that they have a conducive environment for their child to learn even outside of the school. So I want you to
Outside
hold
the
that
school.
thought,
Okay.
and
Okay.
yes, and I'll just run through for those who are just joining. I just like to run through some of the things that you have said because I don't want anybody to join and miss out of. Okay, so someone says she knows a school that pays less than 25,000 naira. Well, I'm very sure that a lot of parents do not even consider their teachers or their child's teachers' welfare, when deciding on a school, and whether you like it or not, it would eventually affect the child. So if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm just going to quickly run through some of the things that we have said. So some of the things you can consider when choosing a school for your child is your own values, the academic performance, of the school, how children in that school perform. Also make sure to ask the right questions and meet the right people. Consider the school's value and how it aligns with your own values as well. I think some of the things you mentioned stylishly in passing will be extracurricular activities. When you mentioned how the school owner, was a coach to like some of the children, and so you want to consider that. You also want to check out the curriculum. Very important. I really, but listening to
Mm-hmm.
how you explained it, I see how important that is. Also observe the interaction between the teachers, the school owners, and the children that are there. Something else that I picked is the timing, to do this. So we can't, I mean, seeing what you said, it's easier to observe and do all of this closer to resumption or towards the end of a session or a
Yeah.
term. But considering that we are still on summer, it's good for, picking a
Mm-hmm.
school. Then lastly, before I ask the question, the cost, the cost. And I like the example you gave about someone taking their child to a very super expensive school and because of the networks and all of the things that come alongside that. So I feel like that is very strategic. Also, I wanted
Yeah.
to say that is why Edike, that is why we do what we do as an organization here at Edike Africa. So we know that, like I said, it's not top 10 on your list. And we strongly also believe that cost of education should not be something that would limit a child from accessing quality, right?
Yeah.
Because cost is
Yeah.
relative to different. Yes, cost
Different.
is
Yeah.
relative. And 20,000 can be a lot for some people. 1
Mhm.
million can be like the max for some people. 5, 10 million can be the max, different grades. However, every child deserves, to quality education, regardless of their economic class or their family's socio-economic class. And so that's why we do what we do
Yeah.
here. And that's why I just wanted to reiterate that Edike is just here to provide school fee financing solution. So you want your child to go to a good school, yes, but affording and balancing things at that particular time might be a lot. We're just here
Mhm.
to partner with you and say, okay, you know what, take this funding, allow your children go to school and access the education, and we give you a seamless and a flexible repayment plan, so you can take your time to actually pay child school fees without the stress of deadline. And I need parents to note that school fees is what the school is using to pay the teachers, right? So if you don't pay school fees on time, or if you're also not consistent well, right, you're the part of the issue that many of these teachers, you're also somehow in the welfare of these teachers, because school fees is
Mhm.
what is used to
It's
run,
true.
the administration. So while you also consider affordability to your pocket, there are times when emergencies will happen. There are times when you need to, something else really is something more urgent comes up, and you used to pay school fees on time. And that's why you're
Mhm.
here. So I think I've
Yeah.
established that. Now I want to take us back to the statement you were making, and I hope you held your thoughts, because I know I said quite a bit there. But I wanted to ask how parents, now we've considered how to choose the right school, but it's one thing for the teachers to be doing great, and schools, being a very great
Yeah.
and lovely environment for a child to learn. And it's another thing front to conducive in as well, just to what's the word, complement what the teachers are doing. So what are some
Yes.
practical steps or strategies that parents can or start to use before summer ends, so that can complement what teachers are already doing? So the floor now.
Okay. Yeah. I really love that question, and let me start by saying that in my introduction you said you mentioned word. That's the title podcast. That's myself and my husband, and then the title of a book that I've written. And in that book, I emphasized greatly the need to see that this whole journey of parenting is not only about what the child should do or what you should do to the child or not, but about how you yourself changes and how you transform as a human being when a child begins with you. Now, so that's the very first stop on that list, which is who are you as an individual? Who you are determines or plays a major role. It has a big influence on who your child ends up to be. Yeah, stay with me. So, a lot of us are a product. Everybody's a product of their background, of their families. And just a few minutes ago, while I was talking to the teenagers, I told them, I said, if you notice, you say some things that when you sit back, you like, it's daddy that says this thing, or I just behaved like mommy, or somebody says, you look just like you. This thing you did, but by is your father that does this, and that is because it's natural. We are born that way. We are supposed to take after them. Bearing this in mind, before you start to have children, you need to consider that if I don't change my bad behavior, it's going to affect any child that I bring forth. And that bad behavior is going to of course it's going to affect the child, translate to a lot of behavioral issues for that child. And then when they get to school, you are giving the likes of us the extra work with our 25,000 naira to be dealing with a child who has issues here and there. It is stressful. I'm running a summer camp for children, and then on Wednesday, an online creative writing camp. On Wednesday, two children joined. Lord have mercy. Two children joined, and while we're teaching them, fundamentals of storytelling and all of that, a parent just turned on a mic and said, "Our son and another child, you know, were exchanging words on in the chat box privately. You know how Zoom works now. You can directly
Yeah.
message somebody. They were exchanging words, and they were saying things like daughter of a pig, son of a kinikon, really using foul languages. I don't know these children. I was meeting them for the first time online. The other children I know, but this one's joined from whatever. And I was meeting them for the first time online. I couldn't vouch. I had to just keep apologizing to the mom because the mom was like, "Oh, our son is supposed to be learning, and somebody's insulting." And madam, I'm so sorry. I can't say it. It's a direct message, and all of that. I know the children that I work with. They cannot do that because I know their parents. They can't speak like that. They can't. If somebody has offended you or done something, they know that they are not the ones to throw the first blow. They know. Even if they throw the blow, they know they are not to return it because of the background that they're coming from. Imagine that was a classroom and I had to deal with that because somebody didn't do their homework at home. So,
Right.
what parents need, firstly, speak with one voice. Like, I'll still go back to these values. If in your home, you know that respect is important, you know that honor is important, you know that you don't speak back to people, you know that you don't insult people. Somebody calls you the son of a pig or the daughter of a pig online, you either report to the teacher that is teaching you or you completely ignore the person, right? Exactly. Family value. So as a family, have your values. What are the things that you stand? And ring it in the ears of those children. Children tend to
Right.
do some things like telling lies, small, small lies. I have two children, a boy and a girl. They fight a lot. And then, maybe when they know that they're in trouble, somebody can just say, I, I, did you hit your brother? She will say, I touched him. I didn't hit him. And I keep telling them, tell me exactly how it happened. Don't tell me how you think it.
Mhm.
How did it happen? And I tell them, if somebody points a gun to your head, say the truth and
Mm.
let that person shoot you with your truth. But don't ever lie your way out of a situation. And I try as much as possible not to do that too, because these children, they do as you do. They don't do as you say. They do as you do. The other day, I told my daughter, I said that we're going to stop eating from 7 p.m. And then around 9:30, I was chewing something. She came for me straight. Mommy, you said. And that's how it's supposed to be, to also keep us accountable. So that you would not be sitting down feeling fly with your bad behavior and expecting to have an angel as a
Yeah.
child. Because all of this that teachers have to deal with a whole lot. Children from dysfunctional settings. So apart from the values, doing not being a hypocrite, doing what you want them to do, being a good role model. Another thing is this: couple must be on the same page. Let the children see that you love each other. We've had I deal with daddy issues, mommy issues so much in schools, in church. It hurts me. Why are you upset? Are you okay? What happened? My daddy did this to my mom. What happened? My mom called my dad a madman. Is my daddy going to turn mad? Oh my God. I cannot come to church on a Sunday morning and I'm having to deal with this. I cannot be in school trying to think about how I'm going to explain a concept to you, and I'm dealing with a child telling me that she's worried her father will turn mad because her mother said her father is a madman. These are real issues. So parents need to tidy themselves up at home. If you want to beat yourselves, do it, no problem, but don't do it in front of these children because the trauma they're going to have to deal with. That's why we have a lot of dysfunctional or adults. Check. If you put 10 adults in a room, and you ask why they have one dysfunction or the other, they may not be able to tell you exactly what it is. But by the time you sit on them and ask them certain questions, you find out that a lot of it stems from the relationship between their fathers and their mothers, or the relationship between their parents and themselves. Because we have parents who are available but they are not present. They are in the house, but you're on your phone throughout. You're watching. We don't use cable TV. We don't even own a smart TV. And you know why? During COVID, my husband and I realized that we're not talking to each other. We were not, honestly, we're not even thinking about the children. We're not talking to each other during COVID. So we pulled it off and realized that as a family, we were able to connect more. And since that time, we've not changed our TV. Everything I know about the news is on my phone. And then because the children are growing, we're trying to manage screen time and all that. They don't own a tablet, they don't own a device. If you want to use my phone, you can use it, but specific timing and content and all of that. So a lot of homework has to be done from home, so that when these children come, you will know a child that is loved from home now. When they come to school, there's this joy they come with. So my children's school is running a summer program, and my daughter has tennis for this August also. So I was not thinking, I said, I have work, but then taking them to school again every morning. I did that the whole of the session. I take them to school myself and pick them myself because my work is flexible. Now, so I told her, I said, do you mind if the school bus comes to pick you for your... She said, no. I said, so that I'll be able to tell you goodbye every morning. And that's what I realized that, so that goodbye every morning actually means something to her. It means a lot to her, right? So if every morning I'm telling her goodbye, I'm giving her a hug, I am sure that she will have a good day in school. I'm too sure that she will have a fantastic day in school because her mommy is okay, her mommy loves her, her daddy loves her, everybody's happy with them, so they know that today is a good day for me in school. Imagine if myself and the father we are finished beating ourselves that morning, and then and then I'm like, whoa, yeah, just enter the school bus and be going, and she's going to keep thinking of... There's a child my husband and I were counseling one time that wanted to commit suicide. Why? Her parents were fighting. She was 8 years old, I think. Her parents were having a fight. She walked by the corridor and heard the father say, so because of her, you don't have my time anymore. Something like that. She didn't know the her they were talking about. She didn't know what they were talking about. She just knew they were having an argument. Because of her, she heard. She assumed she was the problem. And then she wanted to just end her own life so that her parents would stop fighting. So we had to do a lot. So when my husband and I are counseling children, we don't counsel them in isolation. We pick the parents, because you see these parents too. You counsel a child now, they take the child back home and they do factory resets. And everything that you have said goes, and you're like, oh my God, I have to start this process all over again. The same thing with teachers, because teachers are not only teaching your children the alphabet and concepts and science and arts. No, we do a lot of counseling. Do you know? I don't know if there are teachers here who can testify to this. A child comes in and is sad. You must get to the root of that sadness, because whatever you're teaching that child, the child will not understand. If that child does not understand, wahala for you as the teacher, because you will have to go back and over, and that is if you're even a sensitive one. Because if you're not a sensitive teacher too, you won't be bothered. After all, they're paying you 25,000, so why should you be bothered? So parents have a lot of work to do. Oh, a lot and a lot and a lot of work to do when it comes to that, so that teachers can also be at peace. There's no teacher here that does not want to have, happy children in their classes. Even when you okay, so there are some boys in a class I was teaching who were always fighting. Okay, okay, I thought you were saying something to me.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, there are some boys, there are these two boys who were always fighting, were always fighting in the class, and then had to get to the root of it. So I spoke with the parents. I saw that parents were in a good place. Then I asked, what kind of cartoons and animations does he watch? I started to mention the names. I said, hey, this is where it is coming from. You should have mentioned this. You need to stop it. You need to stop it immediately. and replace it with other educational stuff that can help your child, because your child is learning violence from this. Your child is learning violence from these games, from TV, and all of that. So it's a wholesome journey. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much. I mean, this is a lot to take in for those of us that don't have children, right? My note part is full. And for every parent here, I hope that we can. I mean, this is very foundational. It's impossible to get all of the books, to get set up
Yeah.
a library for your child, and do all of those other things when their emotional and mental health is in shambles.
Issues. Yeah.
And this is also for parents, because parents do not believe. Some parents still do not believe that their children have any form of emotional or mental health. They feel like every
Uh,
reaction, everything, every action, every activity for being children. And with everything that we have read, it's way more than that. It's a reflection of their environment. It's a reflection of
yes.
what you do even as a parent. So this is such profound strategies that parents need to start considering before the next session. I'm sure we still have enough time to put ourselves to as parents, to ensure that our children have one of the best sessions ever, and moving forward. So our time is way past spent, but I've enjoyed this session, and I'm just going to wrap it up with one last question. Now it's a struggle to pick which of the questions to ask you here, but let me see. So for will change their schools, or children who are just resuming for the first time, and crèche, daycare, nursery, or for those who are
Mm-hmm.
graduating, that there are times when they would experience some form of dissonance,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a new environment, it's a new class.
Mm-hmm.
Can parents ensure a smooth transition for their children? Everybody's excited. Oh, my child is graduating and all, but I mean, there is always, even as an adult, when I'm stepping into a new phase, I always feel like, oh my god. So how can we manage that, especially for children, just to ensure that they transit smoothly?
Beautiful question. And of course, I always have a life experience or an example to give. So my son just finished from preschool. We're going to primary school. I'm a proud I'm a proud mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we when he came home and was doing the rehearsals for his presentation and all of that, he's 5. I had to explain to him. I said, do you even know what is going on? You're going to another class.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, okay. He wasn't even really paying attention. Then I caught his attention. I said, Miss Duni will not be your teacher anymore. My son turned like, what? Miss Duni will not be my teacher anymore. Aha. I said, very good. So I needed to explain to him, you're going to an older class. You're going to basic 1. And Miss Duni is not teaching basic 1 anymore. But do you know Miss this person? I said, this is going to be your new teacher. And I spoke to him, I helped him to understand that he's moving from one place to the other. And in fact, I learned that especially when my daughter was moving from preschool to primary as well. She was very attached to her teacher, so attached. In fact, all of them in that class loved Miss Priska so much. So I knew it was going to be a problem. And then the other part of it is that Miss Priska was leaving the school. So I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be a lot. So I had to do a lot of pep talk, explaining, and all of that. And so, why am I sharing this? Children can hear, they can understand. Talk to them. Let them know why this decision has been made. If you are changing schools, for instance, I spoke with a friend of mine. He's a journalist. He's a journalist, and then he says, when they saw the bill for the children's school fees this year, it's going to be this coming session. For 2 children, it's going to be paying way over 2 million naira. And he's like, I'm a journalist. I'm not a thief. Where am I going to get 2 million naira from to pay
Right.
every year? So they had to change the children's school to a less expensive school. So what do? You let them know. Thank God the girls are older, 8 and 10. So you let them know we're changing this school because at the moment this is the financial situation. The school has increased the school fees. They can understand. They can definitely understand. Let them know why. In the yes, let them know why. I think we just believe that they know their children. They don't really need to know
Yeah.
every. When we are
Yes.
broke, when my husband and I are low on cash, we let the children know. Well, side joke, so that their demands they can demand, so that their demands would
Yeah.
will be sensible
What's
at
the
that period. But we let them know that this is what we planned for this week or this month, but because of so and so reason we had to bring this, so we're going to be taking this out. So that means that this particular Sunday, our pizza Sunday, maybe pizza Sunday or 4 Sundays, we have to reduce to 2 Sundays because we have to buy fuel into the car and all of that. So let them know why they are transitioning to this place. And don't put any fear in them. We have some parents who will say, you were in preschool 4 last year. Now you're going to basic 1. You have to be a big boy. You have to be this, you have to be that. You're already
yeah.
putting fear in the heart of that child. So that child is going with a lot of apprehension. Is like, hey, what if I can't do this? What if I can't? There'll be a lot of what ifs that the child has not even stepped into the class. But you as a parent, you are there letting them feel like because they're going to an older class, everything has to change about them. What happened to you holding their hands through that period? As you're going into this class, I'm going with you. Emotionally, I'm going with you mentally. I'll be here to hold your hands. Your teacher is a nice person. She's going to help you. The first few weeks may be a little, you will learn new things. Do you want to learn more about butterflies? Yes. Okay. So you're going to learn more about
Mhm.
butterflies.
Yeah.
Because I work with that age, so I know the things that excite them.
Then.
My son is very particular about um volcanoes and mountains. I don't know how, but he just loves volcanoes. So I'm preparing him. You're going to do science, and you're going to do a lot of experiments, and you're going to do a lot of this, and you're going to do a lot of that. So he's anticipating, he's waiting for. Oh, you are frozen again. Oh, oh. And I don't know if you can hear me. No way. Oh, okay. I'm back.
Can you hear me now?
Aha. Okay, sorry. So the child
Yeah.
is
I'm sorry.
anticipating and really wants to go to that class to learn these new things instead of letting them go from a place of fear, And then all the things they need also. If they require a new school bag to make them confident, get them a new school bag to make them confident. So we're going to a new class. So I want everything that you're going with to be new.
Be
Not necessarily
new.
because you can afford it or because their old school bag is not good. But these are the things that gives them confidence,
Mhm.
boosts their ego,
Yes.
their self-esteem.
Yes.
And they know that yes, I'm going into this place, into this new stage, this new environment with everything new. And it must, if possible, please go with them on their first days. Go with them on their
Right.
first days and pick them up on their first days. You see that first interaction is very important. It will determine how the rest of that term is going to go, because they'll be able to tell you if they are comfortable or not. Then you can take it up immediately with the school. Oh, my child complained of this. Is there something you can do to help me or to help the child? Not from a place of fight. Because parents, we can fight. We like to fight a lot. Like the person was telling me about tissue paper. How is that even important? Is the toilet clean? Yes. Okay. What if they actually ran out of tissue that week?
Right.
You know,
Mm.
what's going to carry a whole pack of tissue paper and give it to them and be the parent of the year? So
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ife Aduradola. I'm super grateful to have you here, and I'm sure that every parent on the call of life has learned a two. Better be than 18 or two, but let's be moderate and just say you've learned 18 or two. So if you're still here, I'd appreciate some emojis. You're listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop right now before we round off. And just as we round off, I'd just like to thank everybody that has joined us. I'd also like to thank our speaker, and I'd like to thank Edike Africa for organizing this Instagram live session. So we spoke a lot and we did a poll for this live session, and we asked
Oh,
if finance or the cost of education will be a deal breaker, in changing school, for parents or for children, and considering the economic reality in Nigeria, with the way things are going, even if it's something that you can afford, I mean, you never can tell what the next session would bring, even if it's
like, yeah.
something within your income bracket, and because things are just really going up, right? And also, when it's great that you be prepared and start preparing from right now, before that, so that if you get new items, school bags, school shoes, socks, and different things, it's great to start investing in those right now. When it comes for affordability, is great, and outside affordability, even if it's something that you can afford, when emergencies show up, you do not have to worry. There's something we say in Edike that we're trying to build, that we're building a community of happy parents. That wants their child to enjoy quality education, right? And it can be saddening when, after all of the hard work, for months, you still that school fees that is even still within you as your school fees financing partner. We are actually the first of its kind to do this, and our transactions are very seamless. We pay directly to the school. So you simply download the app, sign up, upload your child's school invoice, and
Okay.
we get the school
Yeah.
fees paid. It can be for a term, can be for an entire session, and you can get to choose, a flexible repayment plan, and you can pay back at your own convenience time. That way, you ensure that your child goes to school uninterrupted, because we can't deny the emotional and mental struggle of administrative cost. So thank you once again for doing. I see comments saying it's an amazing session. There was so much value.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
So much for having me too.
Ife once again. It was such a great time, such a great conversation. Yes, and thank you for making our time, regardless of the network. Thank you, MTN,
It's
or whatever
MTN. It is
network you're
MTN. No help
using,
to
for
beg
making
them.
us go through this. Yeah. I saw your message yesterday saying the network would have this conversation without
Uh,
so much of a glitch. And it's one thing grateful for, that this was
yeah.
successful. So thank you,
Mhm.
everyone. Thank you for
Thank
joining us.
you.
Have a lovely weekend. Our next session soon, and we'll share more information about that. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.